Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. I figured we would go live. Bitcoin is now approaching 64K, right? It's approaching 64K. Clearly, 64K is not an all-time high. And I don't think anyone is necessarily getting out of bed for a $64,000 Bitcoin. But it might be reason to lift your head off of the pillow, right? Don't get out of bed quite yet. We still have a little bit of more work to do. We still need to put in a new all-time high. Remember, until that happens, we have not technically put in an all-time high. But with that said, I want to show you guys something that I think is somewhat interesting. The Bitcoin Euro valuation has already put in a new all-time high. Okay, so you should take that into consideration, right? Let me post this in a few different places. Really quick, hold on. And almost done. Okay, so Bitcoin now is trading for 63,784. Okay, but the interesting thing, as I put out on Twitter earlier, is that really it's already put in a new all-time high against the euro. Right? It's already put in a new all-time high against the euro. And actually, someone had a really funny response to that. I don't know if you guys saw it, but let me let me show you what they said. So I put out a tweet. Saying this guy's figured out why Bitcoin Euro put in a new all-time high before Bitcoin USD, and he said, but they're 5 hours ahead, so we'll be at an all-time high soon. That's how it works. So clearly the reason why the Bitcoin Euro valuation put in a new all-time high for the US dollar is because Europe is in fact a few hours ahead of us. But I thought that was interesting that we are already at a new all-time high with respect to the euro. So, there are probably some people that might say, look, it's already a new all-time high. It's just a matter of time before the US dollar does it. So the US dollar now is at 63,947. We should be ushering in a 64K Bitcoin relatively soon. We're going to draw the line, not at 64K. No one cares about 64K. We're going to draw the line at the prior all-time high. Okay, so right around 64.9K, 65K. So about another $1,000 to go before we can ring the bells and say we were right on 64.8K not being the market cycle top. Okay, so just a little bit to go. Let's first take out 64K and then we'll see what's up here. So right now we're at 63,977. You can see the 4-hour candle that we're in is looking already at a very modest 2.5%. It's really not that much further to put in a new all-time high. From the current valuation, in fact, Bitcoin only needs to go up 1.44%. 1.44%. We could do that in the next hour, potentially. I mean, let's just take it one step at a time, but it's not like this stuff hasn't been done before. So let's keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens here. Let's first see if we can break through 64. Let's go over to the hourly time frame. Let's see what it looks like. So we are making that approach. We had a 1% move, a 0.37%, 0.06, and now this is a 0.84% move. All right, let's see. We're almost at 64 here. We're at 63,995. All right, let's go to the 1 minute candle. So we're looking at minute candles now. 63,998. All right, we're above 64. We are above 64K for the first time in like 6 months. I told you guys 3 to 6 months. Remember I said that? Give us 3 to 6 month low in the market. We'll be back on our way. So 6 months later, basically 6 months later, we're now back to 64K. Because what, it was April? We hit it in April, I believe. Let me switch this back to Bitcoin USD. Yeah, this was the week of April 12th, and now we're back above it the week of October 18th, or yeah, the week of October 18th. Yeah, that's around 6 months. So it was 3 months below the 20 week, and then another 3 months going from the 20 week back up to hopefully a new all-time high. Okay, so 3 to 6 months. It looks like it was a pretty good estimate. Maybe not perfect, but I feel like it was decent enough. So now we're at $64,009. We are not that far. We're not that far away from the Bears finally conceding that they were wrong and that the market cycle is in fact not over. I don't think it is. I mean, look, could we get a correction off the all-time high or even go above it and then come back down for? Yeah, of course we could, but no one cares about that, right? This is not the game we're playing here. We're in it for the long haul. We generally, I've said before, you should not be deterministic about anything, but if anything you're going to be deterministic on, it should be that Bitcoin trends up with time. And now it's at a very modest $64,000. By the way, if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Okay, definitely subscribe and click the like button. So we're at 530 likes. There's no reason we can't get to 1,000 likes. When altcoins, guys, Q4 is Bitcoin's time. That doesn't mean altcoins can't make moves, but it's Bitcoin's time. You have to recognize that. You have to. I told you. I mean, I spent months telling you guys Ether Bitcoin's probably gonna bleed in Q4, right? We prepared for that for months. This is not a surprise. Not if you live in the cryptoverse. Okay, this was the expectation. Look, I know a lot of people were calling for something like that, but I told you, no. Bitcoin tends to lead Ethereum in Q4. The path of least resistance for Ether Bitcoin is down in Q4. In Q1, we'll see if we'll probably turn it around. But until then, I'm not super optimistic about the Ether Bitcoin valuation. Again, Ether USD should do fine. I'm not taking anything away from Ether USD. I think it'll do fine. But Bitcoin USD is where the real party is right now. You just have to pay your respects to the king. And if you don't pay your respects to the king, then your portfolio can get wrecked at certain phases of the market cycle. So pay your respects to the king, and don't you forget it. Yeah, I know everyone wants to get Forbes on the line, but I will remind you not to schedule your Forbes interview just yet. We still aren't even at a new all-time high. I think we're gonna make it there, but I wouldn't get on the phone too early. Let's see if we make it. We are only about $1,000 away. We've already taken out $64,042, so that's as high as we've gone since we've been on the stream here. Still have about $1,000 to go. Yeah, I know ADA's lagging behind. I said this. I told you guys it's gonna go back into the why doesn't ADA ever do anything phase for a few months. No one believes me when I say these things about altcoins. But look, there's a time for them to rally, and there's a time for them not to rally. And when the dog is away, which is Bitcoin, the cat can play, which is Ethereum. If the cat's away, which again is Ethereum, then the mice can play, which is the altcoins. But the dog, Bitcoin, is not away. It's running around the yard. So the cat and the mice are hiding. Okay, they're just hiding right now. They're not going to come out to play at the current time. Bitcoin is ruling the yard at the current moment, and that's just the way it is. And I don't think it's going to change that much this week or next week or maybe not even next month. On any given day, could altcoins rally? Yes, they could. The general direction of the market, though, in my opinion, is that Bitcoin is going to rule for a while. Okay, it is. That's just the way it is. It's going to rule for a while, and you just have to understand the seasonality of the crypto markets. On the premium list, intothecryptoverse.com, I spent the last 5 months telling people to go heavy Bitcoin by Q4, right? All of them to be heavy Bitcoin for Q4 because that's when Bitcoin normally leaves alts in dust. And here we are, right? I mean, look at this. Look at the Bitcoin valuations. They're all just in the red almost constantly. If Bitcoin hesitates for a day here or there, yeah, alts will rally. But this is the time for Bitcoin to rule, okay? And alts are in for a reckoning for a while, is my opinion, against Bitcoin. Not against their US dollar valuations. I still think their US dollar valuations will be fine. They'll probably even trend up with time. but they're all Bitcoin valuations. We're in the alt reckoning phase of the cycle. Okay, where alts bleed to Bitcoin. That's just the phase we're in. Don't hate me because I'm telling you. Just maybe take it out with the data. Take it up with the data. Don't take it up with me if you have a problem with it. So Bitcoin now is at 63,978. Sorry, I'm trying to read the questions here. Where are the bears? I'm sure they'll come back out whenever we get a correction. And say I told you so. Doesn't matter when it happens, right? It doesn't matter if the correction comes now or if it comes at 70K or if it comes at 80K. They'll say I told you so. I would just ignore them. All right, we're at 63,990. We'll see if we can get back above 64. I mean, this is a pretty nice move by Bitcoin. Like it had this shakeout earlier today, which was interesting. I mean, it dropped like, what, $2,000 in like an hour or less than an hour. And then it's just, since then, it's just rallied on up higher. Yeah, people are. I've heard a lot of bears call it it's a dead cat bounce. And I joked back over here that it's, like they call it a dead cat bounce, but what if the cat's made of rubber? It can keep on bouncing higher. Maybe this is what you call a living cat bounce. The cats do have 9 lives, by the way. So maybe this took out one of the lives, but fortunately, it has 8 more. Maybe it's a living cat bounce. We're seeing it continue to rally here. Now, as I said, I don't think it's a dead cat bounce. I think it held the line and we're moving higher. All right, still $1,000 to go, my friends. Will an all-time high be 2021 or 2022? I mean, I think we'll probably make it to an all-time high here, within the next couple of days. If we get a pullback, sure, it could delay it by a few weeks, but I don't think a new all-time high is that far off. We're only $1,000 away from it. And again, if you measure it by the euro, the Bitcoin euro pair, we're already putting in new all-time highs. When does Ethereum and alt season start? I mean, I would say the non-deterministic answer would be whenever Bitcoin stops moving, assuming it's above an all-time high. The deterministic answer would be mid-December to mid-January is when they would start moving significantly. Until then, I think we're still in Bitcoin territory. Sorry, I feel like I slept wrong last night. My neck hurts. I guess this is what happens when you just spend 6 months in bed. What do I think about the ADA Bitcoin valuation? I mean, I think it's going to go down for a couple months probably. That's what I think. All right, 63.8. Let's take a look at some of those indicators we've looked at before. All right, so let's pull up our corridor. It gives us the instantaneous upper and lower bounds of Bitcoin, and I'd say it's done a pretty damn good job so far of helping us identify the bottom here. Again, if you go look at it on the daily chart, I developed this metric over here, and I'd say it did a pretty good job at catching the bottom. I'm not saying that we can't, I'm not saying that I necessarily thought it would. I'm not. I didn't know if it would, but so far it has stood the test of time, and it had a very nice bounce off of that lower bound trend line. So what does that mean? What is possible in the short term? Well, as always, time is on our side, but in the short term, it says that 106K is theoretically possible. Now, this is only going to go further and further away with time, so that's just if it went there today. If it takes it longer to move up, then obviously the upper bound would be even higher than that. But I'm just showing you where the bounds are currently on this metric. So you can kind of see how it looks over the years, right? So normally gets capped off by the red line. Green line is the bottom, red line, again, hitting the red, the green, not quite to the red, but this was just a sort of a fake one. And then the green, this one actually went below it, back up to the red, back down to the green. The red now again is already at 106,000, and it's climbing every single day, right? It's climbing every single day. No, I would not schedule your Forbes interview. I know you guys are asking me for that. I would say no. Someone said it's a dead cat bounce. Look, it's interesting that I really, from a theoretical perspective, or just from like an argumentative perspective, I really wonder why people call it a dead cat bounce. Dead cat bounces don't typically take out or go near the all-time high. They bounce just shy. Like this one, back in 2017, we had a drop all the way down, to like 10K. So it was like a 50% drop, and then a rally back up to 17K. It's not like we rallied back up to 19.5K or something, right? It was sort of a bounce, but again, it was a dead cat, so we didn't really make it anywhere. This, as I've said, this does not look at all like a dead cat bounce. It just looks like, what? A 3 to 6 month lull in the market. Imagine that. 20-week SMA is moving up relatively quickly, as well as the 21-week EMA. The 20-week SMA is already over 43K. The 21-week EMA is over 46K, and they're climbing quickly as well. Is the dollar a concern? That's interesting. The dollar has actually gotten rejected, which is good. That's good for Bitcoin, right? Off the 100 week, the dollar in the short term, at least here, it's gotten rejected. Really, that's what we want to see. If you want Bitcoin to have the stars aligned, right, you want to see the dollar get rejected. And so far, that's what it's doing, right? DXY, the US dollar currency index, is getting rejected. If it goes down, Bitcoin generally goes up, okay? Like here's a period where the dollar went down for a year. Guess what? That was 2020 and going into 2021. You guys know what happened since March of 2020 going into early 2021. Bitcoin went up, right? What happened in 2017? The dollar was going down. You guys know what happened in 2017. Bitcoin went up. So the dollar going down is generally a good thing for Bitcoin. It's also a good thing for the stock market too. So if the dollar does in fact get rejected here and start heading down, that's a relatively good thing for Bitcoin. Bitcoin now is at 63.9K. Yeah, I put out a video earlier today on the whole market cycle ROI from the halving. So if we put in a new all-time high tomorrow, and by tomorrow I mean 4 hours and 10 minutes from now, which would be UTC the daily close, if Bitcoin is higher tomorrow than it was back in April, then we officially have a lengthened cycle as measured from the halving, not as measured from the bottom. So there's a distinction there. As measured from the halving, it'll be lengthened if we are able to put in a new all-time high, at least 4 hours or more from now. If we put a new all-time high today in the next 4 hours, then we go back down, then technically it's not yet lengthened yet, because today during the last cycle would have been the market cycle top. But again, I do think this cycle is going to extend beyond what the last cycle did, which extended beyond what the cycle did before that. So I believe that Bitcoin will continue trending higher. But the point is that as measured from the halving, Bitcoin will be putting in a lengthened cycle in 4 hours, if in fact it can put in a new all-time high and hold it for at least 4 hours, and hold it past that point. So it's a pretty exciting time. I mean, we'll see what happens. I know it's interesting how everything's sort of converging together, right? The same day in the halving, Bitcoin's approaching the prior all-time high. What I would like to see is, I'd like to see Bitcoin take it out, right? Take it out, and let's continue on. In the short term, if we get rejected, I'm sure the bears will claim victory. My speculation is if we do get rejected, we might go down a little bit, 10, 20%, and then we'll just come back up stronger next time and then break through. I'm not really that concerned at this point. We're now at 63,960. All right, what other questions do we have? Yeah, I know Bitcoin. Everyone's telling me Bitcoin Euro is already at an all-time high. I pulled that up earlier on this very stream. If you go to the beginning, we looked at Bitcoin Euro. It is in fact at an all-time high. Right, you can see we're right here, which we didn't make it to that back in April. So the Bitcoin Euro valuation is in fact at an all-time high, because before we only made it to like 54,176 euro, and we're already at 54,954. So Bitcoin Euro is already, in fact, as I said, at an all-time high. Someone says, can we get a $30,000 Bitcoin again? I doubt it, honestly. I don't think we'll go back to 30K. Could I be wrong? Yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't think we're going to go back to 30K. Maybe not even 40K, honestly. All right, we're approaching 64K again. 63,988. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe. If you're not subscribed, give the video a thumbs up. Let's go for 3,000 likes. Let's see if we can push past and make it to the all-time high up here. We got another $1,000 to go. Let's flip this back over to Bitcoin USD. We can pull up some other ones as well. Why don't we pull up the forecast of the 20-week? So we'll do the forecast here and see what things look like. So if we go edit this and say, let's suppose we go up, let's say a conservative 3% per week. 3% per week. We're above 64K again. So if Bitcoin goes up 3% a week, that's what it looks like. The 20-week is going to be this yellow dash line. So the 20-week could be reaching 64K or the prior all-time high by December if it goes up on average 3% a week, which is somewhat conservative based on the moves that it has been making, right? This is 12%, 13%, 13%. So far this week, it's already 4%. But again, you will get some red candles sprinkled in there as well. But this is what the 20-week would look like if Bitcoin moved up about 3% a week. If it moved up 5% a week, then it would look like this. So this is plus or minus, right? So this is plus 5%. The purple line is minus 5%. And then the dashed red line is just if the price stayed the same. Like if the price just went sideways, then that would be the red line. The yellow line is if it went up plus 5% each week, and then the purple line is if it went down 5% each week. But you can see, so if Bitcoin were to go up 5% each week, then by mid-November, the 20 week would be at 53K. By mid-December, the 20 week would be at 70K. That's the 20 week SMA. Remember, the 20 week SMA only made it to 49K earlier this year. I did not break 50K. So it'll be interesting if Bitcoin can break 50K. I mean, if the 20 week moving average can break 50K, because we have not done that yet. Obviously, we know Bitcoin can break 50K because it already has done that. All right, let's see, 64.1. We're at 6. I guess I should draw a house, huh? Let's see, where are we drawing the damn house? This is our house TA, which does not really fail us that frequently. All right, there it is. The house. 64.1. Let's push it up. 64.134. All right, let's. Man, I hope we can prove the Bears wrong right here. Right here. Let's put in a new all-time high. The funny thing that I keep saying is like, well, you know, like missing out on a 29K to 65K Bitcoin move is such a huge move to have missed out on, right? Like, like that's real gains, right? From 29 back to 65K. All right, we're making a run for it. We're making a run for the title, 64.212. Let's see if we can make it. 229. It's getting somewhat euphoric in here. 222. I mean, if we continue going up at this pace, we should make it. Oh, that could be a ways off actually. Oh yeah, I drew this on the yeah, I probably should have, because the garage doesn't even pop up for another 20 minutes or so. Oh well, maybe we'll go on this side of the garage and then come back and hold it as support. We'll see what happens here. The problem is the garage doesn't actually pop up here for like 20 minutes or so, because this is the minute time frame. Let me make the garage a little bit bigger. We can put our bicycle. It's not a fancy car, right? It's our bicycle that we ride to continue stacking sats, right? So that's where we store it, in the garage. All right, let's see if we make it. We are now at 64.242. Look, I mean, the rest of the market isn't really doing much of anything, right? The expectation. The market will watch in awe as Bitcoin makes its move. It'll watch in awe. 64.160. All right, it's pulling back a little bit here. Let's see. Ethereum's at 38.10. Again, path of least resistance for Ether Bitcoin is unfortunately down in the short term. That's just probably what it is. Don't take it up with me, take it up with the data. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I mean, if it continues falling like this, maybe it'll find support on this long-term moving average. This is the 100-week SMA, and you can already see it's kind of converging to that support line again. So this would be sort of like worst case scenario, I think, for Ether Bitcoin by the end of the year. All right, let's take a look at some other ones here. So here's the forecast of the 20-week SMA, the 21-week EMA, and the 8-week SMA using linear regression. So that's what that would look like, in case you're curious. The regression rainbow, we haven't looked at that in a while. For us to get to the same band that we were at earlier this year, we would need to go up to around 88,000 or $87,000 instantaneously, or maybe 86 or 87. If we were to go to 86 or 87K instantaneously, when we'd be at the same levels in terms of the regression band that we were. I'm not saying we can't go to the gray one. The gray one goes all the way up to 150K. So this goes up to like 150K already, 147K. This one is at, okay, so this one's at 85,421. I still think Bitcoin has room to run. Gosh, I like slept on my neck wrong or something. Yeah, you look, we'll still likely get 20% corrections en route to 100K. I mean, whether it comes now or whether we go to 75K first and then get a 25% or a 20% correction, right? I mean, we will probably get 20% corrections. If it happens at the all-time high, then it could take us back down to like, it could take us back down into the 50s. If we rally though up to say 75K first, then a 20% correction would only take us back down to, to 60K or something. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be straight up to 100K. I do think we'll have some corrections along the way. But it just goes back to the general saying, I think, of that time is on our side and that it doesn't really matter when the corrections come. Dips are meant for buying, is my general thinking. Can I address the potential impact of the money supply on the cycle? We actually looked at this. I mean, we looked at M2. It's not like the best. It's not like, I'm not claiming that it's like the best metric to look at, but look if you look at this. If you look at Bitcoin divided by M2, the money supply, okay? So the price of Bitcoin divided by the money supply. I showed this back over here during our summer lull, if you remember. We had like 2 or 3 videos on it. What's interesting is if you account for the money supply, M2, sorry, this is not. We know the money supply was going up like crazy, okay? If you account for it, Bitcoin did test the prior all-time high of 2017. So I know a lot of people have been saying it has to go test the prior all-time high of 2017, but look, if you account for the money supply, it did test it. We said that back in the summer. This is an interesting observation, I think. Okay, accounting for the money supply, we did test the prior all-time high, and then since then we've been back off to the races. What's my thought on this being a triple peak cycle? Yeah, we've mentioned it before. It's possible we get a triple peak cycle, right? Like it's possible 64K is peak 1 back in April. Maybe the next peak could be like 100K, 120K. I don't know, like maybe late this year, early next year, and then maybe we get a third peak that goes out into Q2 or maybe even later in 2022 that takes us up to 200K. I think it's possible. Like I think it's possible. I think being overly deterministic is not a good thing. But I know people have their theories, and I have mine. But I just stick to the risk levels. I have a theory. I just stick to the risk level. We'll see what happens, right? I mean, I certainly did not expect Bitcoin to go to 64K by April, but it did. So I took profits, right? It's more so how you react to what happens, in my opinion, than predicting exactly what will happen. That's my philosophy. I mean, we have our predictions on what will happen, and I tell you guys my predictions on what I think will happen all the time. But that doesn't mean that these predictions can often be very, very dubious, of course. Like it kind of goes with the Ether Bitcoin ratio, right? Like I think it's going to bleed in Q4. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, but it's been bleeding so far in Q4. And I would argue that the path of least resistance for Ether Bitcoin, for the Ethereum valuation against Bitcoin, is likely to continue to bleed in the short term and then make a strong recovery in a couple of months. That's what I think. All right, Bitcoin is back above 64K, so we're at $64,072. Remember, we do have the Telegram channel with over 50,000 people in it. If you want to join it, I will post a link to it here in the comments. Yeah, you can pay with crypto if you want to subscribe to the premium. Let's just go to the pay with crypto option. Do I believe in the super cycle? I don't know that I would say I believe in the super cycle. I believe in lengthening cycles. Like I think this cycle will lengthen as measured from the halving and as measured from the bottom. And again, we're about to lengthen as measured from the halving. I would say I believe in lengthening cycles, but I mean the idea of a super cycle, is that like where it just goes to $1 million without any substantial corrections? No, I don't believe in that. I think we still will have corrections. All right, we're at 64K, my friends. We got $900 to go. Yeah, the price went up on the premium list. Dubious Ethereum price potential for 2022. I think Ethereum will make it above 10K in 2022. Okay, I think it will. I think it can. I think it should be able to take out 10K, and I don't think it necessarily has to wait until late 2022. I think it'll hit. I think it'll go above 10K sometime between. Well, I'm going to give you a wide range because it's my channel. I can do that, but I would say sometime between January of 2022 to January of 2023, Ethereum, I believe, will hit 10K. If I had to guess, I would say it's going to hit 10K in early 2022, sometime in Q1 or Q2 of 2022. I think Ethereum will go to $10,000 in Q1 or Q2 of 2022. That's what I think. Could I be wrong? Yeah, I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. I have no problem being wrong. I've been wrong before. I have no problem being wrong, but that's just what I would speculate, that it'll hit 10K sometime in Q1 or Q2 of 2022. But look, it could go beyond 10K. I'm not saying that 10K has to be the market cycle peak. I'm just saying I do think it'll make it to 10K in 2022. I do think Bitcoin will go above 100K this cycle. I don't think the market cycle peak is below 100K. I think it's above 100K. But I also don't think we're going to put in gains at the same level that we saw last cycle. I don't think Bitcoin will make it to 300K. Again, I'm not very popular for saying that, but that's just what if it goes to 300K, great. Like I have no problem with that. I have a lot of Bitcoin. I would love it for it to go to 300K. I'm just sort of being realistic and saying it probably won't make it to 300K, but if it does, I will be exceptionally happy. I think that Bitcoin will make it easily to 300K next market cycle. Easily to 300K next market cycle. This market cycle, I feel like 300K might be slightly out of reach. That's my opinion. But I do believe the market cycle peak is above 100K. I know some people think it's just going to go to 100K and be done. I think it's going to go above 100K. And I would speculate that we're going to have a lot of resistance at 100K. And then whenever we pass 100K, that's going to be the parabolic move, right? Because it's going to move quickly. Like it could be 100K one day. Next day it could be 105, then 110, then 120, 130, 140. I mean, maybe we have a 20K day, a 20K move in a day. Hopefully it's not to the downside, right? But I mean, I do think Bitcoin is possible of moving up $20,000 in a day as we get into the six-figure area, because it just becomes a lower and lower percentage. Joshua says, when moon, sir. It's funny. No matter what you say, you always have to answer the question, when moon. Look, I mean, we're in an uptrend right now. Bitcoin is in an uptrend. Who cares? Who cares whatever the definition of moon is, right? We're Bitcoin right now is in an uptrend. I think that's the only thing that matters, right? That's the only thing that matters. We are technically in an uptrend. And that is something you can take to the bank, right? Is that we are technically in an uptrend. It's just a matter of are we going to stay in the uptrend, or are we going to go above it and go parabolic? I mean, it looks like, I mean, this is very dubiously drawn, of course, but we still maybe have some more upside here, even within the conservative uptrend channel, which again was very dubiously drawn anyways. But I do think Bitcoin is just definitely in an uptrend, and we held the line at the 20-week. Things look relatively good. We'll probably get a pullback at some point, and the bears will come out of hibernation for a few weeks, and then they'll go right back to hibernation when they're wrong again. All right, we're at 64,190. We'll put on the, let's see, we're inching closer to our garage here. No, don't call Forbes yet. Tell him you'll call him back later. Guys, like, everyone wants to talk about altcoins. Everyone wants to talk about altcoins. But the cold hard truth is that altcoins are going to lag behind for a while with respect to Bitcoin. That's just the way it works. I know a lot of you are probably sitting there thinking like, damn it, I want Ben to be wrong. Like, I want my altcoin to go up with Bitcoin. But I'm telling you now, it might be a couple of months. They'll probably trend up against the US dollar off and on, right? Like I fully expect Ethereum to put in new all-time highs if Bitcoin continues moving higher. I would expect that, but most altcoins are likely to bleed against Bitcoin for a while. That is the cold hard truth. People just don't want to hear it. That's just what it is, okay? I mean, look at these Bitcoin valuations against these altcoins. I mean, look at the dominance. I talk about the dominance a lot on the premium list, by the way. I mean, it's already approaching, it's already above 47, it's approaching 48%. I love myself some altcoins. That's where the gains are, that's where really the gains come from. But you have to respect the king when the king moves, right? Pay some respects to the king and stop ignoring it. It is the king of the market for a reason. And alts, I do believe alts will have their day, but there's deer in the backyard actually. I do believe that altcoins will have their day, but that day is unfortunately not today, right? It's just not today. But you give it a little while, they'll have their day again. And if Bitcoin does put in new all-time highs here and continues going higher, then I mean, alts just lag behind for a while, and then they move whenever Bitcoin stops. That's the game we play, my friends. All right, we're at 64.3K. We got nothing but time. Nothing but time. My room looks pretty empty. Yeah, it is kind of empty. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty empty room. You gotta stack your sats, my friends. Material possessions can wait until after the cycle's over. The opportunity cost right now is too damn high. You guys remember the bookcases? A relic of lost times. No, I mean that. Like seriously though, like opportunity cost is a thing. I don't know if anyone else struggles with that, but maybe it's a. I think it's a crypto thing. Does anyone else like whenever you're out shopping or something and you're buying something like somewhat expensive, like maybe it's like a couch or a table or something, and maybe you're with your spouse or your significant other or whatever, or a friend, and you're looking at it and you're like, man, like think about how much Bitcoin I could buy with that money, or think about how much Ethereum I could, or ETH I could buy with that, or think about how much insert your favorite altcoin I could buy with that. And then not only do you think about how much of that altcoin or how much of that Bitcoin you could buy, but then you think about what that would be worth if the market cycle continues moving higher. So not only do you think about like how much more Bitcoin you could have or ETH you could have if you didn't buy that, but you also think about how much higher it could be, or the valuation that it could go higher. And then I'm like, well, if I hold off a little bit longer, I can take that and then buy 5 couches with it instead of just 1 couch. I don't know if anyone else thinks like that, but I certainly do think like that. Liam says no one thinks like that. I mean, all jokes aside, right? I mean, like you gotta live your life, right? I'm sort of half kidding. You have to live your life. All right, we are at 64.2. 64.2. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you're not subscribed, give the video a thumbs up. Let's go for 5,000. Oh wow, we have over 10,000 viewers. Hot damn. Make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up if you're not, if you haven't already. You guys see the power of holding the line, right? It's the power of holding the line. I feel like most indicators are. I mean, there was another. We also held, and this is also the 100 day as well, right? Like we also the 100 day came in. The 20 week SMA was right there. The 50 week was even slightly below it. This is the most excited I've seen Ben. Someone says, I think it's partially because I've spent the last 6 months hearing people say that 64K was the cycle top back in April, and I've been pretty adamant that it's not. So it would be nice to get some confirmation on that either today or within the next few weeks. How did I learn TA? I don't know. I don't even think I know TA. I'm only just, I like to mine the data for patterns, is what I like to do. This is the only TA I think is worthwhile. It's house TA. Everything else is a bunch of nonsense. What happened to my old car? I still have my old car. I drive an '07 Chevy. But it is getting pretty beat up at this point. It's getting pretty old. All right, we are getting a little bit of hesitation here by Bitcoin. Let's see if we can continue higher, hopefully sooner rather than later. We still have about $700 to go to get to a new all-time high. We're at 64,207, 231. Did I sell my chairs for Bitcoin? No, I did not. Do I think nuclear physics engineering is hard? Well, it ain't easy. I have a PhD in nuclear engineering, in case you didn't know. It's not easy. I mean, I think getting a PhD doesn't really make you feel smart. It makes you just feel like there's more stuff you don't know. um, Someone says 15K incoming. I'm gonna assume they're talking about Ethereum, even though they might be talking about Bitcoin. Yeah, we could talk about uranium stock. All right, we're at 264, 257. Let's see if we can keep pushing higher. The local high here on the minute chart is 64, 332. So we're about $100 off that. See, this is what I don't get. Christopher says biggest bull trap in history. What makes it I mean, like, look, could we have a correction? We could, but if you want to call it a bull trap, like, it doesn't change the fact that if you've been screaming that since 29K or 28K, you legitimately missed out on a 124% move because you were convinced it was a bull trap, right? Does that make sense? Like, does it make sense to miss out on a 124% move, even if you didn't think it was going to go higher than this? Like, even if you still thought it was going to get rejected and come back down? That's the problem I have with the whole bull trap stuff, is that people call it a bull trap, I think, is a way of sort of rationalizing why they didn't buy in. But look, I mean, it's up 124%. That's real gains, right? That's real money that you could have made had you just DCA'd Bitcoin, you know? I mean, worst case scenario, right? I mean, yeah, it could come back down, but it doesn't change the fact that this is a 124% move that you missed out on because you thought it was a bull trap. Yeah, I do think the market cycle peak will be around 10 trillion. Not for Bitcoin, for the entire asset class. I've said 10 trillion plus or minus a few trillion, right? Not by this year, not by the end of this year. I mean, could it happen this year? It could, but if it happens this year, I don't think it'll make it to 10 trillion as the asset class as a whole. I think we need it for it to extend into 2022 if we want the asset class as a whole to make it to a $10 trillion market capitalization. It would need to go into 2022, I think. I'm skeptical that the entire asset class could go up 4x in just over 2 months. I think that's a too tall of an order. But if it goes into 2022, I think it's certainly possible. It certainly is possible to make it to 10 trillion. What engineering discipline am I? I said nuclear. Do I want to buy a Lambo? No, I don't really have any interest in buying a Lambo. I did buy an EV though recently, but no, I don't really have any interest in buying a Lamborghini. It's not very practical. I have 3 kids. I have 3 kids, one who's 5, one who's 2, and one who's 1. Imagine strolling around town in a Lamborghini with them in it. Someone says soccer dad. I am a soccer dad. I played soccer growing up, and I'm the assistant coach on my 5-year-old son's soccer team. I'm the assistant coach. So yes, I am a soccer dad. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. All right, let's see what happens. I have to go. Well, I got a little bit of time. I have like 45 minutes, I guess, before I have to go. But hopefully we can push into a new all-time high here within the next 45 minutes. Yeah, people have been shouting no volume since 29K, so I don't know what to tell you. Classical music? Yeah, I think I used to, I haven't listened to it as much recently, but I would like listen to it in grad school. It's something you can kind of listen to in the background that doesn't distract you. Why do I think the cycle could go into 2022 when other people think 2020? Look, a lot of these people said it was going to have a peak in September, and when that didn't happen, they just changed it. I mean, what else do you want me to say? All right, 64,068. Let's see if we hold the line here. If we come back down this way, I'm going to sign off because we're probably not going to make it in time because I have to leave. I have to leave in about an hour or 45 minutes, really. And if we come back down here, we're probably not making it there in 45 minutes. Isaac says, I don't believe, I do believe Bitcoin will go above 100K. I'm not sure why he's saying he's saying I don't believe. I do believe it'll go above 100K. I've always said that. I do think it'll go above 100K this cycle. How old am I? I'm 31. I was born in the 90s, actually, 1990. Someone says I gotta prepare the orange wedges. No, I don't have to. I have to leave not for soccer practice, but for actually swim lessons for my 5-year-old. How's the dollar? Yeah, we already showed the dollar. The dollar is getting rejected pretty hard by the 100-week SMA, which is good for Bitcoin. All right, what else you guys got for me? Looks like we're holding the line so far. Let's see if we can get another push higher. We need to push higher than 64.3. It would be the ideal scenario here. Let's push higher than 64.3. If you guys want to keep the party going, we need to keep this moving. I think we're slacking off here a little bit. Let's break 64.3 and push higher. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're not subscribed. Give the video a thumbs up. By the way, we also have another Telegram group, Into the NFT verse, actually. We have a pretty cool NFT coming out relatively soon. If you guys want to check that out, go check out the Telegram channel. Any guests lined up? Actually, I don't have any guests lined up, I don't think, at the moment. We've had a few guests recently, but I don't have any imminently lined up. Who do you guys think I should bring on? We brought on a lot of people over the last few months. Do you guys like it when we bring people on? Is that something that you guys find interesting, like listening to other perspectives? I think it's useful, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think. The problem is some of these people are hard to get a hold of too. Like, sometimes it's hard to actually find how to even contact people. You know, like it's just hard to get a hold of them. All right, we are at 64.2. We've sort of held the line here. Let's see if we can push higher to 64.3. I'm gonna make a run for it. I'll make a run for the title. We're still not quite there yet. I'll read the chat later for all the people that are being suggested that I bring on the channel. The chat's going by too quickly for me to go through and read them all. Elon Musk. I wish Elon Musk would come on. I don't think he cares much for crypto YouTube channels though. All right, we are at 64,242. All right, let's see. We're still slowly moving here. I mean, we haven't really made a significant move now in the last 37 minutes. We've just been sitting at the price go sideways. So, unfortunately, I mean, fortunately, 37 minutes isn't really that long, but unfortunately, on a live stream, to just sit here for an hour or something and just watch the price go sideways isn't very entertaining. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're not subscribed. Click the bell icon, turn on your notifications. Give the video a thumbs up. By the way, I also do have an alerts channel. If you guys just want to be on a Telegram alerts channel where only I post, I'll post that here in the comments as well. That's the alerts channel on Telegram if you want to join. All right, we are approaching 64.3 again. So it looks like we are, at least in the short term, we did hold the line. We held the line here at 64, and now we're moving up. Now we're trying to go back up to the prior local high that we just put in a few minutes ago at 64.332. Let's see if we can take out 64.332 and push higher on the third attempt at 64.332. We actually just went to 64.333 for a very brief second. 64,318. You know, one of my biggest fears is that 100K is going to happen when I'm sleeping one day. Gosh, that would be awful. Hopefully we catch it on a live stream. All right. Let's see, let's push higher. This is the time. This is the time to push higher. This is the third attempt here at this level. It's time to move up. 60, we're moving up, 64,340. Oh man, what a time. As we said before, right? Too early to explore, or born too early to explore the Earth, born too late. Sorry, no, I keep getting it mixed up. Born too late to explore the Earth, born too early to explore the universe, born just in time to explore the cryptoverse. 64,346, 64,348. Our bicycle awaits us. This is actually the 4-hour the 4-hour candle going into the daily close. So let's see what it ends up doing. Hopefully this 4-hour candle gets us there. All right, we're back down below 64.3. Where did I learn to draw? Probably in kindergarten, maybe before then. Probably in preschool. I know my drawing skills are pretty epic. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's only a matter of time, right? I mean, it's only a matter of time before we make it. Whether we make it on stream or not, I guess, is anyone's guess, but. Will I continue posting on YouTube after the cycle peak? Yeah. Maybe not as frequently, maybe not like twice a day, but I will. All right, we're 64.3 is still giving us some trouble here. We're still trying to fight through 64.3. The highest we've gone today is 64,357. Man, I just want to see it break out. I want to just see it break out to the upside here. Let's just get it over with. Let's get a new all-time high done. Yeah, Ether Bitcoin's still getting wrecked. Not really that surprising. There's still deer in my yard. There's 3 of them. You guys want to see some interesting social stats while we wait? Let's see. All right, I want to show you guys some social stats. So maybe this can give you some insight into the market. So here's the YouTube dashboard. In case you start a YouTube channel, this is what it looks like. So the YouTube channel, we're nowhere even close to the views I was getting back before the major drop. Okay, so it doesn't seem like, I mean, yeah, like the market is somewhat euphoric at the moment, but it's actually not quite. It's not as euphoric as it was earlier this year. I mean, in fact, I was getting more views in March than I am right now. So views are not as high as they were earlier this year. Watch time, yeah, still pretty low compared to some of the earlier stuff. So I mean, it tells me that we still, I probably still have some room to run, right? This looks kind of interesting. And of course, estimated revenue 0 because we don't do AdSense here. So let's do away with the notion that I'm just trying to get views and whatnot. I'm not. But there's some other interesting ones. Like let's go to the audience. So 94.1% are male. 94.1% are male. 5.9 are female. So about 6% of the people watching are women. 0.1% of you are 13 to 17 years old. 11.1% of you are between 18 to 24. Almost 41% are between 25 to 34. So this is where I am, because I'm 31. So I'm in this category. So I'm the same age as the majority, at least the one that has the largest share here. And then there's 29% between the ages of 35 to 44. So, I mean, basically 70% of the channel is between the age of 25 to 44. 70%. And then there's between 45 to 54, we have 12.2%. And then 55 to 64, 4.6%. 65 plus is 2.3%. And if we go to countries, I think this is interesting. So if you want to see it by country, 32.6% of you are from the United States, 9.7% from the United Kingdom. Let's just go down the list. We got Australia coming in at 5.5%, Canada at 5.4%, the Netherlands at 4.6%. Maybe Plan B is the reason why the Netherlands is so high. I think he's from there. Germany is 4.2%, India 1.8%. So it really drops off here after Germany. So you can see the United Kingdom, United States, Australia, Canada, Netherlands, Germany are definitely the highest. And then after Germany, it drops off significantly to India at 1.8%, Belgium, Spain, Singapore, Switzerland, Sweden, France, Portugal, Philippines, Poland, Ireland, Romania, Norway, Austria, Italy, Malaysia. We're getting below 1% now. Turkey, Brazil, Slovenia, South Africa, Thailand, Indonesia, New Zealand. So the last one on this list is just showing the top 50, I guess, which you can export it to see more, but it's Slovakia coming in at 0.3%. So shout out to anyone viewing from Slovakia. Maybe you guys found that interesting. Definitely an international audience for sure. Did you guys like seeing the YouTube dashboard? It's definitely got some interesting stuff. Viewer gender. Yeah. Mostly male, we know that. And then viewer age, visualized in like a bar chart. Traffic source. Browse features, suggested videos, notifications. It looks like 8.5% of you are viewing my videos because you have your notifications on. Seems abysmally low, but I'll take it. All right. Someone asked why I got a spike in subs. I'm not sure what you mean. Are you talking about this? You talking about this spike? This is known as the Coin Bureau effect, actually. If you guys aren't subscribed to Coin Bureau, you should go subscribe to him. He gave me a shout out on his channel, and that is where that spike comes from. So that probably answers your question. Yeah, Coin Bureau puts out a lot of good stuff. So if you're not subscribed, go subscribe to Coin Bureau. All right, guys. I don't know if we're gonna catch it on stream. We're just kind of hanging out below 64.3 at the moment. If we go below this line right here, I might just sign off. We'll give it one more chance here to break through. Why can't you super chat me? Because super chat is not turned on. Don't tip me. Just go invest your money. Maybe go buy Bitcoin with it. What is the fundamental reason for Bitcoin dominance in Q4? Well, I mean, it just tends to go up in Q4 after a September pullback, which I think used to be attributed to some of the miners and whatnot. But you know, we often see lulls in the summer. It sort of goes like, you know, with the stock market, right? Sell in May and go away. I think it's just a bunch of seasonality. Honestly, I think it's just seasonality. Yeah, I think super chat is honestly ridiculous. Like the idea of, yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I'll just leave it at that. Watch me turn it on one day, but I don't think I will. I don't have any plans on turning it on. Dominance going above 50? Yeah, probably. We do have t-shirts, by the way. I don't know if you guys want a t-shirt. Again, I don't know why you would want a t-shirt, but if you do want a t-shirt, store.intothecryptoverse.com. You can get yourself the finest of t-shirts. And you can actually get a sweatshirt if you want one of these jackets or whatever. All right. Well, we fell below our line here. I don't know if we're going to catch it, my friends. Maybe not on stream. Yeah, I know I'm a great salesman on my t-shirts. Yeah, I just lose money on the t-shirts. I don't really care. It's more just fun, right? It's more just for fun. All right, we're at 64, 124. Let's see if we can recover. Maybe this is a a bear trap on the 1 minute candles. Maybe we'll get lucky and it's a bear trap on the 1 minute candles. Can I send t-shirts to South America? I don't know. You can try filling out, see if your country's on there. Can we see the anxiety candles? The anxiety candles are the 1 second candles. I don't know if you guys are ready for this, but we'll go take a look. These are the anxiety candles. The 1 second candles. They're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you've ever watched 1 second candles, but here we are. Someone says I have the skin tone of Dracula. Oh, okay. Take that as a compliment. All right, 64.9 or 64.2. Sorry, 64.194. All right, guys. I don't really know what else to do. We've been on here for what, like an hour and a half almost, and we're still not putting in an all-time high. Unfortunately, I can't just hang out here forever. I got stuff to do. As much as I would love to usher in this all-time high with everyone, I can't just sit on here all day. My kids are more important than watching Bitcoin put in a new all-time high. So we'll wait. I'll wait 5 more minutes. If by the top of the hour we're not above 64,344, I'm going. I'm leaving. I'll see you guys later tonight. But I got to get going pretty soon. Yeah, I am sure about that. Family's more important than crypto. I know that might sound strange, but it's true. It is true. Kids are in terms of an investment, they're a better investment than Bitcoin. I said it. Bitcoin's shortly after, but kids are above Bitcoin. All right, 64,183. Shall we wrap it up, guys? Maybe you guys can bring home the title while I'm out at my kids' swim lessons. I'll be with you in spirit. 64,184. I mean, if we can just get a quick spike and we can make it, we're good, but 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes until I gotta go. Yeah, we did the premium list into the cryptoverse.com if you guys want to join that. All right, we're now at 61, 120, or 64, 120, excuse me. I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bring home the all-time high without me if I'm not here. And hopefully I'll see you on the other side. If not, if we get rejected here in the short term, then we'll just pick ourselves up by the bootstraps and try again a little bit later on. But thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, click the bell icon, turn on notifications, give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.